Is it the tale of a broken man's descent into madness, or is it the twisted tale of an unreliable narrator? You decide. Joker tells the story of Arthur Fleck, a man on the fringes of society. Desperate to make it as a stand-up comedian, he makes his way through the unforgiving world of Gotham City, where he constantly finds himself the laughingstock and the recipient of countless punchlines. Broken and beaten, Fleck begins a downward spiral that will take him from the depths of the unknown to infamy, becoming the villain Gotham deserves. Joaquin Phoenix plays Fleck as a complicated man who cries through his laughter and laughs through his cries. An engrossing performance that provides an element of tragedy never before seen to the famous Batman villain. He imbues a dark humanity to the character and creates a Joker that may not be the ultimate mastermind, but does serve as a frightening symbol of resentment and envy. Arthur proves to be the match to a city primed to blow. All it takes is one bad day, or in his case, several bad days, for the Big Bang to happen. Gotham never looked dirtier, and its citizens never acted meaner. This is a vicious take on the world of Batman that looks frighteningly similar to our own. Joker does not provide escapist comic book fun, but instead a mirror to our already fractured society. It is through Joker the flaws in humanity are exposed, and the world becomes one big twisted joke. Todd Phillips and Scott Silver had their finger on the zeitgeist of the country and, frankly, the world in 2019 and unleashed a devilishly bold vision on the Batman foe that feels both grounded and yet operatic in the most haunting of ways. This Joker soars to new heights, laughing and dancing his way in the chaos he causes. But the film is even clever. Through inverted meanings and blurred lines of reality and fantasy, the audience never quite knows if they are in on the joke or if the joke is on them. Arthur installs a masterclass in playing fast and loose with the truth, while leaving the audience to question whether the events of the film are literal or whimsical. As the Joker smirks at the end of the film when asked about a joke he is thinking about, he says to his therapist, "You wouldn't get it." What a way. Joker is in many ways an anti comic book movie, but not in a bad way. The film deconstructs these mythic characters and settings and grounds them in a reality similar to our own. The character is then built up from this reality and works in the confines of the world, while still resembling the famous foe that has captured the imaginations on the page and on the screen. Whereas most comic book films work in the confines of its sandbox, Joker steps outside, recreating the sandbox and playing by its own rules. So, what is this film? Is it an origin story for one of pop culture's greatest villains? Is it a character study on the fractured psyche of a broken man living in a society without compassion or reason? Is it a commentary on loneliness and the need for empathy in the modern world? Or is it a subjective tale told by an unreliable narrator? The answer, I believe, is yes. Yes to all of the above. Joker can be anything, and it can be everything. It is a bold and devilish film painting a broad canvas of whimsical and literal proportions. Whereas most comic book films will play inside the confines of its sandbox, Joker steps outside that sandbox and plays by its own rules. That was what drew me to this film 5 years ago. It's why I continue to revisit it. It's one of my favorite comic book films, to say nothing of it being one of my favorite films of all times. It is a brilliant, dark, and subversive movie that manages to retain the essence of the character while offering something new to say on both the subject and the subject matter. I expect nothing but brilliance with next week's Joker Folie à Deux and to follow in the same footsteps of its legendary predecessor. But I will save my thoughts and reactions for a later date. As you can imagine, I am feverishly awaiting the release of the new film, and I look forward to giving my review in a few weeks' time. But that does it for me today, everybody. Thank you, as always, for tuning in and joining me on this cinematic rewind. Of course, I will be back next week and we will do this all over again for the love of movies. And I will close out with two lines from the film that perfectly capture the character and spirit of the Joker. Put on a happy face and always remember that's life.
I saw a blind man, he was a kind man, helping a fellow along. One could not see, one could not walk, but they both were humming their song. When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. But when you're crying, you bring on the rain, so stop your sighing. Be happy again, keep on smiling, 'cause when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're smiling, why the whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. But when you're crying, you bring on the rain, so stop your sighing. Be happy again, just keep on smiling, 'cause when you're smiling,